Going to new places is definitely fun, but there's probably certain places that you shouldn't go to. America, you guys know that I love the country, love visiting, but you know, there's places. Apparently, there's places called sundown towns where, um, if you're a certain color, you're not allowed to be there past sunset. I don't know if this is still the case, but yeah, I've had people leave me comments being like, Kabir, if you go to X state, you got to be careful. Like, let me know if there's any truth to that.
There's a town in America where the local government evacuated everyone and won't say why. The roads were sealed, the homes were left behind, and the weirdest part, it's still called Helltown on the map. America's full of postcard towns, right? White picket fences, Main Street diners, 4th of July parades, but what they don't show you is the other side of the map, the one with no postcards. These aren't tourist traps with bad ghost tours. These are the real ones, towns so off-grid even the locals say, don't stay after dark. Some are dying, some are cursed, a few still waiting. We're diving into 10 small towns you've probably never heard of and might wish you hadn't. A place where an entire population disappeared. Another where the fire underground's been burning for 60 years. Oh, and the one where everyone lives in a single building and the tunnel shuts at night. Think you know creepy towns? Sure, but do you know the one with a working library, no residents, and one woman who runs the whole thing? And trust me, you're not ready for what's next. Hit subscribe so next time you're on a road trip, you accidentally avoid the haunted zip codes.
I think whoever runs Helltown should maybe consider changing the name. Helltown is not very inviting.
Let's break it down. Number 10, Moonville, Ohio. The tunnel where time forgot. There's a tunnel in Ohio where no trains run, no lights shine, and people still report seeing a lantern swinging in the dark from someone who died over a century ago. Cool place for a picnic, right? Moonville isn't a town, it's the memory of one. Tucked deep in southeastern Ohio, not far from Lesky State Forest, this 1800s mining outpost is long gone. What's left? A single train tunnel, and enough ghost stories to make Stephen King switch genres. There are no roads into Moonville. You hike in, through the woods, past broken stone foundations and a mossy cemetery. It feels like you're being watched, because you probably are. The tunnel is what's left of the Marietta and Cincinnati Railroad line. Trains haven't run through here since 1988, but ghost sightings? Still on schedule. Locals whisper about the Lantern Man, a rail worker supposedly decapitated on the tracks.
Oh my God.
Visitors have seen a glowing light flicker down the tunnel, then vanish. Paranormal groups love this place. The living? Not so much. Here's the thing. Moonville doesn't show up on most maps. Its population hit zero in 1947. Yet people still report cold spots, shadowy figures, and, no joke, hearing train whistles where there are no tracks.
Creepy.
Oh, and the Wi-Fi? Non-existent. So if you go ghost hunting here, don't expect to live stream your demise. This place is what happens when isolation meets history and refuses to leave. Moonville isn't creepy because of what's there. It's creepy because of what's missing. No cell service, no locals, no escape plan if things go sideways.
Wow, man.
Just stone, smoke, and the overwhelming sense that something didn't get the memo, it's dead. And let me just say, if your idea of a good time involves ghost tunnels, venomous snakes, and trail maps that look like toddler crayon art, congrats, you're Moonville's target demo. Me? I like towns with pizza, not abandoned mining shafts with an undead work ethic. And if you thought Moonville was unsettling, wait until we get to the town that literally locked itself inside a building and threw away the key.
The fact that you have to hike into Moonville is very, very strange. Like, there's no road. Like, usually a lot of these small towns have one dirt road that kind of leads in and out. But this one, you can't even get there. Like, technically, you've got to, become some kind of like a hiking expert to find it. It's pretty strange.
Number 9. Picher, Oklahoma. Poisoned
Picher.
promises. There's a town in Oklahoma where the ground is collapsing, the water is toxic, and the government literally paid people to get out. You know, just your
What?
average American suburb. Picher, Oklahoma used to be booming. Mining town. Big money. Patriotic posters. Good schools. Good jobs. Fast forward a few decades, and today it's an apocalyptic playground. Abandoned homes, warning signs, and massive mounds of toxic mining waste called chat piles.
But why is it legal to leave that stuff just out there? You know, if somebody goes there and breathes it in, like, shouldn't they put it underground or like dispose of it in some other way?
Which sounds adorable until you learn they're full of lead, zinc, and arsenic. Between 1927 and 1967, Picher produced more than 50% of the lead used in World War II ammunition.
Wow.
Yay, victory! But here's the catch. The mines left behind a Swiss cheese mess of tunnels beneath the town. And now, the ground is unstable. The air is full of lead dust. And the kids? Off the charts blood toxicity. Real issues. EPA declared it the most toxic town in America. Over 34% of children tested showed elevated blood lead levels. Sinkholes swallow streets and houses randomly. Property values? Effectively zero. Population today? Approximately zero. It's officially condemned.
Yeah, I mean, if your kids are getting sick, I mean, you've got to get the hell out of there. Like, why would you stay here?
Consequences. The feds finally stepped in with a buyout in the 2000s. Most residents left, some refused. But when an EF4 tornado destroyed what little remained in 2008, the town was erased. Picher doesn't feel abandoned. It feels like someone deleted it mid-sentence. You know it's bad when a tornado hits your town and FEMA says, honestly, don't bother rebuilding. And I've got to say, imagine living in a place where your backyard is a pile of uranium-adjacent gravel and your Google Maps still tries to reroute you into a collapsed street. Oh, and the only Yelp review is a guy who said, nice ghost town, brought my Geiger counter for fun. Picture this, you walk outside your front door, it's quiet, too quiet. A breeze kicks up dust, and the dust turns out to be fine particles of actual lead. Your dog tries to dig a hole and disappears. Welcome to Picher. Would you rather live next to a haunted cemetery or on top of a toxic minefield?
Like, look how much stuff they've just left here. Like, this is like a mountain of this lead. This is like, it feels illegal.
Let me know in the comments. I'm collecting bad decisions for science.
Yeah, I don't know if they should
Number
just leave
8,
that.
Centralia, Pennsylvania, the town that burns forever. Imagine your hometown caught fire in
I
1962
think I've heard of this one. This one's crazy. If it's the one that I'm thinking about.
and never stopped. Not the houses, the ground, the literal earth beneath your feet. Still burning, still deadly. And yeah, people stayed. Centralia used to be your standard mid-century Pennsylvania coal town. Hardworking folks, 2 churches, corner stores, Friday night football, all the Americana, minus the part where the underground caught fire and never went out. Here's the setup. Someone lit a trash fire in an abandoned coal pit. It spread to a massive underground coal seam and, well, it's still burning.
Wow.
60 plus years later. The government tried to put it out, then tried again, then gave up and started paying people to leave. The town was slowly condemned, its zip code deleted like a corrupt file. Consequences of sticking around. But not every—
Hang on a minute. If the zip code is deleted, but people still live there, can they technically not receive post? Because, you know, what zip code would they need to put on the address? They'd need to put a zip code, wouldn't they?
Everyone left. A few residents stayed. Their homes still stand, cracked, crooked, ghostly, while white smoke seeps up from the sidewalks like dry ice at a cursed prom.
That's
The temperature?
crazy.
Unstable. The air? Literally toxic. The vibe? Whew. End of the world chic. Underground fire has been burning since 1962. The fire covers an estimated 400 acres and still growing. Population dropped from 1,100 plus to under 5. Home value, roughly, will pay you to leave. Air quality, somewhere between vape shop and Mordor. On the bright side, no snow shoveling in winter. The ground melts it for you. Honestly, how do you even insure a house in Centralia? Hi, I'd like fire coverage. Yes, ongoing. Yes, for 60 years. No, it's not in the house, it's beneath it. Imagine your kitchen floor just glowing. Not from lights, from lava energy. But hey, free geothermal heating, right? Picture walking your dog on a foggy morning, except that fog is toxic vapor venting from cracks in the earth. You turn the corner and realize you're standing on a giant sinkhole waiting to happen.
But don't they, there must be a way to put this fire out. Like, isn't there some kind of, you know, fire retardant liquid or gas that they can just pump in there? 400 acres is a lot of area, but where there's a will, there's a way.
It's not haunted, but it definitely wants you gone. At least in Moonville, the ghosts stay in the tunnel. In Centralia, the whole town's one big slow-motion exorcism. Centralia's fire could keep burning for another 250 years. Yeah, that's not a typo. The town may be long gone, but the fire? Still on the clock. And if Centralia is a town that burned itself off the map, the next place might have cursed itself off it.
Whoever started that trash fire, I mean, they're responsible for so much damage. Like, who would have thought that just burning trash could turn into this?
Number 7. Dudleytown, Connecticut, the Valley of Whispers. There's a reason Dudleytown isn't on your GPS. It's not a glitch, it's a warning. The myth, the fog, the fallout. Dudleytown, Connecticut is the kind of place that shouldn't exist, and technically it doesn't. No street signs, no official town records, no zip code, just a name whispered between campfire stories and Reddit threads about cursed towns that feel off. Founded in the mid-17th century by the Dudley family, yes, of alleged English nobility descent, the village was plagued by madness, crop failure, and sudden disappearances.
Oh my
Residents
gosh.
didn't die peacefully, they unraveled, and then so did the town. By the early 1900s, it was completely abandoned. And not just people moved out abandoned, trees grew over foundations, the air went still, and no one rebuilt. The land was sealed. Visitors are still told to not enter, and if you do, you're trespassing on private property.
Oh wow, so it's actually illegal to go in there. That's nuts. A whole town that's illegal to go in.
Or something worse, what it costs to stay or come back. There's no real rent because there's no real town, no census, no infrastructure, no real estate value. But don't let that fool you. Dudleytown comes with a price. Paranormal investigators have reported camera failures, lost time, and overwhelming nausea. Some say the forest makes a sound, not of whispers, but like something remembering how to speak. One woman reportedly left the area in a rush, claiming something was inside her thoughts. Quote from a Connecticut Reddit
What
thread.
the
Went there
hell?
on a dare, GPS died, camera glitched, heard nothing but wind, except there was no wind. So just to be clear, it's a town with no buildings, no people, and a reputation for making you lose your grip on reality. But hey, the property taxes are low. And let's talk about the name Dark Entry Forest. That's the actual name of the land Dudleytown sits on. Dark Entry Forest!
Yeah, that's mega creepy. What the Who's naming these places? Dark Entry Forest? Helltown?
Like a rejected Harry Potter spell or a horror film Kickstarter that went too method. If you're naming your neighborhood something that sounds like it bites, don't act surprised when people think it's haunted. Picture this, you're hiking through thick forest. No signs, no sound, even the birds are quiet. Your phone? Dead. You swear you passed that same rock 10 minutes ago. Then you realize you haven't heard your friend's voice in a while. You turn around and they're not there, just trees and stillness. In Florida, you get gators in your backyard. In Dudleytown, you get existential dread and a legal notice for trespassing in a portal to nowhere. Now imagine living somewhere where there are no sirens, no traffic, no loud neighbors, just endless forest, soft moss underfoot, and a hush that feels ancient. Sounds peaceful, right?
No, it doesn't sound peaceful at all. I mean, I'd be very scared because you could easily get lost in here. Like the trees are just so dense and it goes on forever.
Until you check the stats and realize that's because there's no one left to make noise. Would you spend a night in Dudleytown with no phone, no flashlight, and no way out until morning?
No.
Yes or hell no?
Would you? Would you do it for $500? $500 or pounds or euros or whatever currency is your nationality? Would you spend a night there by yourself? No GPS, no phone. Oh, maybe. Ugh.
Drop your horror movie energy in the comments. Dudleytown might feel like the end of the road, but the next place? It started creepy and never stopped growing. Number 6. Whittier, Alaska. All four walls, all the time. There's a town in Alaska where nearly the entire population lives inside one building. Not a metaphor, not a cult, just real estate meets survival horror. Welcome to the concrete hive, Whittier, Alaska. Population, approximately 275. Housing options. 1. The Begich Towers, a 14-story Cold War-era structure that functions as apartment complex, city hall, school, grocery store, post office, office, church, laundromat, and possibly a crypt for your sanity. Built in 1956 as a military outpost, this single monolith now contains basically the whole town.
Wow.
Step outside and you're in the harsh Alaskan wilderness. Stay inside and you're, well, in everyone else's business. Forever. Average winter temp, minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Snowfall per year, 250 plus inches. Rent, around $600 to $900 per month.
I mean, that's pretty cheap, to be fair. That's pretty cheap.
Cheap until you count the therapy, jobs, port operations, government, and whatever needs doing in the tower. Tunnel access, one way, closes at night. Crime rate, low, because where would they run? Technically, Whittier has no crime because if you commit one, your getaway route shuts at 8 p.m. What it feels like to live here. Life inside a bunker might sound kind of efficient. You never have to scrape your windshield. You can walk to school without going outside.
Yeah, the commute is going to be so short. Literally from your bed to the desk in 2 minutes.
And your neighbor's cooking becomes your cooking whether you want it or not. But the flip side? There's nowhere to escape awkward elevator small talk. You literally live in the same building as your mayor, your ex, your mail carrier, and the person who never wipes down the laundry machines. Okay, imagine ordering DoorDash here. Your food has to come through a tunnel that cuts through a mountain and closes at night. Sorry, your sushi's frozen because our delivery guy got trapped behind a glacier. Also, every building here is connected by underground halls. It's like a haunted Sims map built by someone who's never known personal space. Imagine waking up, tossing on slippers, and walking down the hall to grab your mail, grab groceries, and drop your kid off at school without ever stepping outside. Sounds kind of cozy until
Nah, I think I'd get a bit claustrophobic, wouldn't you? Like your whole life being in this one building. Anyone who knows anyone who is living in this town, super unlikely. Could you ask them what it's like and put it in a comment here? Because I can't imagine like living 99% of your daily life in one building, like never leaving.
your walls are thin and your upstairs neighbor plays Frozen on loop. Then it's just Stockholm Syndrome with better insulation. In LA, your neighbor ignores you. In Whittier, they hear you chewing from 3 doors down. Would you live in a town where your entire life happens in one building? Or would you tunnel out on day 3? And if you think Whittier is claustrophobic, wait till you meet the next town, where the ground itself is trying to erase what's left.
Which is the worst so far? The worst so far is probably that town with the lead, where you're breathing in that poisonous lead and the kids were getting sick. That's probably the worst one.
Number 5. Fallsville, Ohio. When dreams dry up. Fallsville is a town that was abandoned before it even got a chance to fail. That's right, this place ghosted itself before the 20th century could. The town that didn't even try to survive. Fallsville, Ohio is technically a ghost town, but unlike most places where people lived before they left, Fallsville barely ever happened. Settled in the early 1800s, it was hyped up with classic American pioneer optimism, waterfalls, natural resources, booming dreams of industry, but then nothing. No railroad, no investors, no we'll make it work grit, just people piecing out. Fast. By 1890, it was already a memory. Today, it's a patch of woods near a dried-up creek and some forgotten ruins, plus enough local legends to make your spine tense. There's no real estate market, no homes, no post office.
It's mad that America has all these places where they've just been abandoned, whole towns. Like here, because it's so small, the UK, you would just never find an abandoned town. They'd like redevelop it. Whereas I think because America's so big and there's just so much space,
Just the name, some suspicious stone foundations, and a weird vibe locals from nearby New Vienna say they avoid after dark. It's the kind of place that feels like nature itself is hiding something. Reddit quote from a hiker: "I walked into the Fallsville wildlife area and felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like the trees were watching. I noped out in 15 minutes. Population, 0. Housing, just gravity versus whatever's still standing. Wildlife, yes. Humans, no. Crime rate, technically 0. Emotionally, maximum. GPS barely recognizes it. Fallsville skipped the whole being a town part and went straight to being cursed forest wallpaper. Ohio has towns that flood, freeze, and fight for economic survival. Fallsville? It said nah and rolled into the bushes like a dramatic theater kid. There's a 20-foot waterfall, which sounds peaceful, until you realize it's next to a dried-up river and a trail called Dead Man's Hollow. Real subtle, guys.
dude, these names. Helltown, Dead Man's Hollow. What was the other one? The other one, oh my God. Oh, What was that other one?
Hiking a trail where your GPS signal glitches. You spot what looks like a cellar door, covered in moss. The air gets colder. You don't see anything, but something definitely sees you. You turn to leave, but suddenly, the path behind you feels different. In Miami, you risk hurricanes. In Fallsville, you risk wandering into someone else's unfinished story. Would you rather live in a haunted town, or one that just gave up trying? Ghosts or existential dread, choose your roommate. Because you're clearly into cursed architecture, forest-dwelling trauma, and places with a vibe no one asked for. Might as well hit the like button before the spirits do. Subscribe now, because the next time you get lost in the woods, this is the knowledge that might save you.
Do you reckon it's worth buying a bit of the land in some of these places? One day they might redevelop it, right? So if you get the land now when it's dirt cheap, you could be, in the money like 10, 20 years down the road. Or do you think these places are going to be forever like abandoned?
Or at least make it creepier.
Another
Number
Alaska.
4. Nome, Alaska, the town where people vanish. At what point do missing person reports start to feel less like bad luck and more like a pattern? Nome, Alaska might have the answer, and you probably won't like it. The edge of nowhere, literally. Nome is perched on the edge of the Bering Sea, remote, icy, and way too quiet. It's where roads don't go.
Is it one of those places that you can go and disappear? Like if you're trying to start a new life?
Literally. No highways connect Nome to the rest of Alaska. If you want in or out, you fly. Or you sled. That's it. But that's not the creepy part. Since the 1960s, dozens of people, mostly indigenous residents, have vanished from Nome. As in, gone. No remains, no signs, no closure.
What
FBI files, public theories, even a whole movie, The Fourth Kind, tried to explain it. Hypothermia, alcohol, alien abductions, serial killers. Take your pick. Nome by the numbers. Average winter temperature, minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit before wind chill. Population, approximately 3,600.
I wish they used Celsius and Fahrenheit as well. How do you convert it?
Cost of living, 62% higher than US average.
60%
Jobs,
higher.
gold mining, fishing, school system. Missing persons, at least 24 unsolved between 1960 to 2004. Some towns lose power, Nome loses people. What it's like to live here. Nome isn't just isolated, it's surrounded by tundra that can swallow you whole. Search parties fail, drones don't help. Cell service is patchy, and the weather? Think freezer door left open in a hurricane. Locals say when you go hiking or hunting here, you leave a note. And if someone doesn't return by dark, you call it in.
Wow.
Fast. Nome has 3 bars, 1 hospital, and 0 Starbucks. So you're really rolling the dice here. Want to complain about your Uber taking too long? Good luck. The only vehicle picking you up in Nome is probably a snow machine driven by your cousin's ex-boyfriend.
Man, just look how sparse it looks. Like once you get, out of this little town area, it's just cold, like open wilderness.
In a parka, picture walking outside. You can see for miles. White tundra, frozen air sparkling in the low sun. No sound, just crunching snow beneath your boots. You feel alone until you don't. There's no one around, but somehow...
Wow, I mean, just look at this. Like in the middle of nowhere, you've got this town. I'd love to visit. This looks so cool. What is it like living in Alaska?
You feel watched, and the sky's already getting darker. In Vegas, what happens stays hidden. In Nome, what disappears just stays gone. And if Nome is where people disappear, the next town is where people stay, on purpose, even when they shouldn't. Coming up, a place where society took a vacation and never came back. Number 3, Cairo, Illinois, the city that erased itself. Cairo, Illinois isn't haunted by ghosts, it's haunted by the choices it made and the silence that followed. A city built to matter and left to decay. Cairo, because of course it is, sits where the Mississippi and Ohio rivers meet, a location that should have made it a booming, unstoppable port town. Instead, it's a modern ghost town with crumbling mansions, boarded windows, and a population smaller than your average high school. Once known as Little Chicago, Cairo was rich, busy, and full of promise, until it tore itself apart with racism, corruption, and violence.
Really?
The 1960s civil rights movement hit hard here, but instead of evolving, much of the town's leadership bailed. Businesses left, residents followed, and what's left now feels like the shell of a place that chose to disappear.
Yeah, not a lot going on here. Very few buildings.
Cairo by the numbers. Population in 1920, approximately 15,000. Population in 2023, approximately 1,700. Unemployment rate, 3 times the state average. Median home price, approximately $33,000. Major employers, county jail, school district, FedEx hub. Seriously? This is one of the only towns where the economy collapsed and the buildings politely waited for permission to rot. What happens when a city cancels itself? Living in Cairo is like being trapped inside a history documentary that ran out of budget. Entire blocks are abandoned. Public housing has been demolished. The town has no functioning movie theater, no grocery store, and barely a future.
No grocery store? So how do people get food? Have they got to go fishing and stuff, like hunting?
And yet, weirdly, it still feels like something is watching, like the stories buried here never really left. Cairo is the kind of place where you feel like an extra in a horror movie you didn't audition for. Okay, but explain this. How does a town with 2 rivers manage to be this dry? There's no economic flow, no nightlife, not even decent takeout. I've seen busier cemeteries. Even the streetlights seem to flicker out of obligation. Picture stepping onto a sidewalk lined with grand Victorian houses. Windows dark, porches sagging. The only sound? Your own footsteps. Even the birds don't seem interested in sticking around. The wind carries history here, and none of it feels friendly. In some towns, time moves too fast. In Cairo, time just gave up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that, like, you know, there's nothing there, but people still live there. Like, there's no grocery store. That's the biggest one for me, because, like, how do people literally buy food? Like, do they have to drive to the nearest town to get groceries? That must be it. But it's such an inconvenience.
Number 2. Helltown, Ohio. The evacuation that no one can explain. How do you evacuate an entire town overnight and never give a straight answer why? Welcome to Helltown, Ohio. Population 0. Suspicion sky high. A town that disappeared itself, but didn't. Let's get this out of the way. The name is real. The rumors, even wilder. Helltown is an abandoned part of Boston Township, Ohio, where in 1974, the federal government swooped in, bought up homes, and evicted residents, supposedly to expand the national park system. Only they didn't. The building sat empty for years. Roads were barricaded, signs warned people to stay out, and conspiracy theories exploded. Satanic cults, mutant monsters, government experiments, a chemical spill? The place has more theories than TikTok has opinions. What they don't put in the brochures. Real world fact check. Helltown has no official census data. Crime rate? Technically 0 because everyone's gone. Rent? Non-existent. But you could pay $400 a night to stay nearby and get the worst sleep of your life.
No, thank you. I'll be saving my $400.
Most of the abandoned buildings were demolished in the early 2000s, but the paranoia? Still very much alive. Reddit quote, "We broke in once at 2 a.m. The trees were dead silent, and then something hissed at us from the church. Never again." It's the only place where a no trespassing sign actually feels like it's doing you a favor. Who names a town Helltown and then acts surprised when urban legends show up like uninvited relatives at Thanksgiving? And why was the evacuation so shady? If you're closing a town to plant trees, just plant the damn trees. Don't turn it into the setting of every 2000s horror movie. And by the way, there's an actual school bus of death rumor. Go ahead, Google it. I'll wait. Imagine driving down a cracked, foggy road. Every house is boarded up. Trees press in like they're listening. You stop the car. Your cell service drops. A church looms ahead. No windows, just darkness. And you think, nope. Remember when I said don't stay after dark? Helltown wrote the rule book on that. Statistically speaking, this town has fewer people than a high school chess club, but somehow it still makes people disappear.
I mean, who named it? Like, whoever named it must have not wanted that place to, like, flourish. Like, yes, let's name this wonderful town Helltown. Like, come on.
Number 1. Monowi, Nebraska, the town with one soul. This isn't a ghost town, it's a ghost resident town. You ever hear the phrase small town vibes? Monowi cranked that dial down to 1. Literally. Welcome to the town with a 100% voting turnout rate, because there's one voter. Monowi, Nebraska isn't just the smallest town in America, it's the only incorporated town with a population of 1. That one, Elsie Eiler, mayor, bartender, librarian.
Yes, I remember her.
Librarian, city planner, and yes, the only person who pays taxes to herself. It's not a creepy town in the way you'd expect. No glowing eyes in the woods, no cursed coal fires, just eerie emptiness. Silence so thick you can hear your own social anxiety echo. What it's like to be a town of 1. Let's break it down. Population 1. No typo. Crime rate 0%.
She must get lonely though, being by herself, right? Like in the whole town, she's the only one.
Unless Elsie's Breaking Bad, she's not. Rent. Technically free if you're Elsie. Job market. 1 opening, 1 hire. Also Elsie. Quality of life. If you're an introvert, Monowi is heaven. If you're not, it's an experimental therapy session. It's like Animal Crossing, but if Tom Nook just gave up and let you run the place. Let's be honest, this place feels like a joke someone made up in a diner during a blackout. A town of 1? A library with no patrons? A mayor with no meetings? I can barely run a group chat without someone rage quitting. Meanwhile, Elsie's out here running a full government on her lunch break. Picture this. You walk outside, it's dead silent. The wind rustles a cornfield. You go to the bar. The bartender smiles. It's you. You forgot it's your shift again. But hey, no traffic, no lines, just peace, and a slightly creepy quiet that makes your phone battery drop out of fear. Like this video because you now know about a
Dude, yeah, I mean, fair play to Elsie. I mean, I wonder though, maybe she moved there with her partner, her husband or whatever, and maybe he passed away and she didn't want to leave. But I can't think of why else you would be the only person that lives in a whole town by yourself. Yeah, some of these towns, man, like the town that's constantly on fire, why can't they put that fire out? Like, surely it can't be that hard, can it? Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.